Good morning, everyone. Yay!
Good morning.
Morning.
So
Happy spring.
I'm getting feedback too, right? You get that?
Yeah, I'm hearing it too.
Oh, it's weird. Okay, well, we'll just try to figure that out. Well, the joys of going live, as always. So my name is Syya. Welcome to the Afterglow Live Recap Podcast. My name is Syya.
And I'm Erin Gregor.
Oh, Erin's on mute.
No, I'm not. Can you hear me? Rashmi, can you hear me?
Oh, wait. There we go. I tried to mute my laptop and it went off like that.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine now.
I feel like Rashmi just froze.
Uh-oh. Oh, we're having all sorts of fun this Friday morning.
This is what happens when we're not having enough coffee. Try to go
right?
early.
I know.
Yeah, I don't see Rashmi, I think, is frozen. Is she frozen for you?
Yeah, she looks frozen for me. That's okay. I think we'll for those that may or may not know, Rashmi Malhotra is back. But this time I'd like to emphasize a different aspect of Rashmi, because all of us as entrepreneurs, Erin, as you and I know this too well, we have all sorts of different interests, and we're not just business people. There's the life we have. And one of the things that Rashmi did is she became an ambassador for Jean-Charles Boisset collection, JCB. And that's what you see in the lower right. So Rashmi, I see you're not frozen anymore. Welcome back, beautiful.
Thank you. I apologize. I had forgotten that they were working on the internet this week. Apologize. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Syya and Erin, for including me. It's always so fun. I mean, so much fun to have this chat with you ladies on Friday morning. I look forward to it every Friday just to hear what your thoughts have been for the week and what's coming up for the weekend. So thank you.
Oh, no. Hey, I'm a little jealous right now, darling, because I saw you sipping on something right there. So I was just talking about how, as entrepreneurs, we have lives outside of our business, right? And so you hooked up with Jean-Charles Boisset, who was a former speaker for GLO. And, you enjoyed his wine and what they represent and the culture and just the experience of, the joie de vivre, right? So,
joie de vivre, yes.
We can tie it in because it's very millennial of you, Rashmi, to be doing
absolutely.
This.
You know,
where
in the world do you have an opportunity to drink on your job? Like it is our job to drink, ladies, and drink great, fine, luxury wine. So cheers.
I wish I could cheers you, but I don't. I'm actually in our Richardson studio here at City Central. Again, Innovation Media Enterprises, our company, partnered up with City Central. So I'm in the studio right now, and you guys believe it or not, I forgot to pour myself a cup of coffee when I came in. I was like, where's my drink? So good morning, Joseph. Thanks for joining us on the Facebook side of the house. So keep up if you don't mind. So let's talk about this week's speaker, Jordan Gross. I think he's a very different type of guest that we've had on GLO. And I'm pretty excited about him because he's not just, yes, I understand it. He markets and he speaks on behalf of millennials and his viewpoints on wellness and mental health, but also around, leadership and creating that discipline for your career. It's not a normal conversation. And so I'm not going to lie to you. I was a little apprehensive with Jordan because I was like, okay, what's this kid going to tell me that I don't already know? Did you guys feel the same way?
Yes. Oh, go ahead, Erin.
No, I was just going to say, I didn't have any preconceived notions of him. He came on and honestly, I didn't even know who was going to be on. Is that bad? I just went to the replay and was like, okay, what's going on? But yeah, I just know with stuff though, like the self-help, mental health, all of that, I think sometimes it's said, it's a regurgitation of what's already said. Like there's really not anything new, but I think there's new takes on it. And I appreciated what he had to say. Rashmi, what were you going to say?
No, exactly the same thing both you and Syya said, Erin. When I tuned in and I saw who it was, because I didn't know who it was either before, and I hadn't done any research on him. I was a little skeptical because he seemed so young to, be talking about some of the things he was talking about. But then I went to his website and I saw that really he's does surround himself with people that have more experience and are more mature. I loved a couple of the articles that he'd written. Obviously one of them, my favorite, was where he interviewed a 99-year-old woman, and she talked about her life. It was her life with 5 different wines, so it was kind of a gradual tasting of wines and her talking about her life. So I really enjoyed that. And I know we're going to get into a little bit deep into some of the things he said. So I have to say I was very pleasantly surprised.
But here's the whole thing. And I used to say this all the time on the other podcast, Innovation Calling, right? Like I used to joke about the millennials, but they are pushing 40 now, and it's not to, it's easy. I think it's a cop out to tease of like, oh, this person lacks experience, but they're pushing 40, you guys. That's not that young. And the older ones are pushing 30. It's the Gen Zs that really get me now. And I find it fascinating when I hear and I see someone like Jordan talking about his experiences. Again, it's not 99 years, but he's well read. The kid reads. And that's impressive to me because he takes the time and he's taken a lot of concepts. Like he mentioned Simon Sinek's why, right? And he expanded on it. He had talked about this concept he threw together. And I'd love to talk about it if you guys don't mind. And I'm not even sure if I'm going to say it right. Imaginativation.
Yeah, he threw out some pretty big words that he made up.
Yeah. Imaginativation.
Yes. I think you're saying it better than I do. Wait, imaginativation.
We could spend 30 minutes just
talking about that word. But he didn't make up a word just for the sake of making up a word. He actually combined a bunch of concepts together into one word. And I was really that I think is what separates someone like Jordan, where yes, again, what does this person have to share that, and I do this with all speakers, quite frankly, is what do you got to share? What's your life experience that makes me care? And it's the combining of concepts and creating a new one, or in a way that is more digestible and unique to his personality, right? So the first thing on imaginativation is the fact that he said, look, you need to have imagination. Like that was like the first component to it. And when he means by why do you need imagination? It is have a dream, imagine the end of what you are aspiring for. And it caught me a little bit off by surprise because I wouldn't even think of it as imagination. I just think of it as goal setting, maybe in my more pragmatic viewpoints of things. But then he said, no, it's more like Simon Sinek's why. So when you guys have your own career, have you imagined your end result? Did you create a vision board type concept?
Did I?
Yeah.
Yes. There was quite a few things that he said that really resonated with me because, you hear a lot of speakers and writers talk about goal setting or dream setting and the ones I think that really help people to success are the ones that bring some of the things that he talked about, creating an imagination, creating an interpretation, Simon's why, and why are you imagining this? And, can I go on with the other 2 parts, Syya?
Yeah. Well, I figured why don't we just talk about imagination first and have Erin answer it.
Yeah, I'm a big vision boarder. I think too, what he went into is what like Tony Robbins talks about state, getting into a specific state. And I know that's what he was, not just I'm going to put this on a vision board and see myself in these certain things, but actually feel myself there and imagining myself there and being like, I think he talked about being on the stages and having impact of people. And there is something to feeling and being in that state and creating yourself in that state. That's very powerful. Like Tony Robbins will always give the example, like when you're really sad or like mad or angry, you can simply shift your like you're just by like sitting there and imagining like a really happy moment in your life and feeling that happy moment. Like you can literally just shift your state. And so by shifting your state even for the future, there's a lot of power to that. Like you're living it and it's becoming a reality because you're feeling it. So I did appreciate what he had to say about that.
Okay, so you're kind of tying into the next part of it with the interpretation of what you're imagining, right, or what you're setting yourself. That's where the Simon Sinek. Why are you imagining this goal? To what end is it motivating you? I call it fire in the belly. Like what gets you up out of bed in the morning? That's kind of the vibe I got with interpretation of what it is that you put together and envisioned, right? So for me, it's. And I feel very Gen Z on this, is like that mission and cause purpose, right? Like, are you, like, for me, why we do podcasting and why we talk about it with businesses and for personal branding, et cetera. It's to me, it's that seeing the results of sharing stories, because we're so much more than just, zeros and ones and, birth dates and death dates. There's so much more depth to who we are and our souls that pleases me. And I think that's my interpretation as to why I do what I do and why we're in this type of business. So if you were to look and interpret yours, when you joined JCB and discovered it, Rashmi, I mean, why did you do it? Why did you say, look, I'm a successful business leader, business owner, and I'm just going to, have some fun pouring wine? Why did you do it?
Why did I do it? Well, it was 7 years ago this month. And so we actually had a big celebration with the leaders, my team leaders, last night. We celebrated with champagne. The thing that I love about wine is that, there's a story in every glass. There is a memory in every glass. There's friendships and lots of wonderful things that you can experience. So I've always wanted to be in the wine world. But, this was such an easy entry, when I was finally convinced that it was something that I wanted to do, because at first I resisted it. But then, after I started enjoying the wines, I thought, okay, you know what? I can just have fun and get paid on what I consume. Well, fast forward 7 years later, we've got an amazing team. We've reached some fabulous heights within the company. And, the why really was my desire to be in this luxury wine lifestyle world and to continue to have those experiences. And that is what this has offered me. But now so much more, because I have this fabulous community of friends of all ages, including, I call Jean-Charles one of my dear friends. How often does that happen in life? So I guess my why, while it started off very simple, has grown. And I think that's the key to fueling your imagination and your purpose and your passion, is to continue to evolve it and build on it and, just create the magic of where it's going to go. So a very long-winded answer to your question, but yes, that's my why. It's just to continue with the experiences, the luxury experiences in my life.
Has your why evolved? Like you mentioned evolving, how has it changed since when you first started to where it is now?
Well, when I first started, I didn't have the concept. Part of my why wasn't to build a team. It evolved to, I knew that beautiful friendships would happen, because if you have things in common, that's a natural evolution. But I didn't know that we would be where we are now. 7 years later, we just got into the $1 million club at 1.5 million, and who would have thought that? But my why, the continuation of wanting to experience those lifestyle, that fabulous luxury lifestyle. Yes, I am one of those that loves that aspect of life. That's still there, but it has evolved to including group of people that I want to spend time with and I want to do those experiences with. I have fabulous experiences with you both, not necessarily just with the wine, but with our friendships and where all of that has gone. So that all has been new to me. The financial rewards are fantastic, but that's more secondary, and that's more for fueling the fun. It feeds my fun. And, does that make me, that just makes me want to have more fun and share the fun and share the wealth with everybody. So.
Hey, that you are that passionate about having fun, because a lot of people just work is work and there's no fun. Like and we can talk about that later because he did bring that up.
Well, I think that it's funny because you're like, just by going through your answer, you kind of went through everything that he talked about, right? So the next point that he was talking about was creativity, and, doing a task, doing a job is a job, right? Everyone's got to do the work, but having fun with it. How do you have the mentality to create it in a way that, fuels you? And I think that fun and exciting component is often forgotten or left off, when we are doing our task at hand. Again, going back to, Erin, let me ask you this. When we first started talking about doing podcasting, it wasn't for the purpose of like, hey, let's sit for the next 4 hours editing audio and now video. That wasn't ever part of the, the conception of it, right? The fun part of it was, oh my gosh, how fun is it going to be to have a conversation, to get to know people, to meet new people, right? So what was it for you as far as creativity, and creating that fun for either the podcast, for Innovation Media Enterprises, or anything else, for any of your other 15 many pursuits as a career entrepreneur?
I think a good example of like reconnecting with why would always be when I would do the events, because it was always this hell. I'll be honest with you all. Mother, it was like I don't want to say that it was like having a baby, because being pregnant isn't like hell, but it's hard. You know what I mean? Like, you're going through this thing and every time you'd want to give up, like I would never want to do it again or whatever, you'd get reconnected to that why. And, you'd change, like somebody would come to me and be like, I met so-and-so and we we're partners now in business, or, you learn, or even like I posted a clip from an event I did 4 years ago, and it's still like just took off on LinkedIn because it was so impactful. And so to be able to create that, I think sometimes knowing your why and understanding your why is so important, because it always feels like when you're at that absolute breaking point, it comes back where you can reconnect with it, because entrepreneurship is hard. I mean, I wish I could sugarcoat it and say it's like super easy and you just have to think it and everything comes, but that's that piece to really understanding it. And I think the deeper you are with it, and that's what Simon Sinek really talks about too, is people get behind it too. It's not just you getting up out of bed, right? It's people really connecting with a greater good and something that they believe in and want to be a part of too. And it's so important to have.
Well, I think you've made that point there too, that I think is very generational, is rallying around a mutual cause or interest, right? So in order to be successful in business, it's not just you marching, right? It's going to be your whole ecosystem, all support group, your community, the people that will support you, and your fans, if you will. And I'm finding that I think what Jordan was saying, and it resonated, is the fact that have a purpose, right, for your business. I'm sure everyone's going to say to make money, obviously, but if there's something outside it, something that's going to have an impact in the community around you, is another way to create and sustain your why. So in his implementation portion, that's the last part of it, and that's where oh my gosh, he actually told me how to say it, and I'm screwing it up again. Imagination is the execution, right? We always talk about, hey, I have a vision board and want to do this. Let's talk about the execution of it. So, Rashmi, the luxurious life is beautiful and pretty to envision, but to actually be able to achieve it and execute it. How have you and how has JCB included the community aspect to create that journey and keep the fun in it?
So, well, thank you for asking that question, because as I went through the journey of the last 7 years, and we did our celebration yesterday with the team leaders, I'd sent them a bottle of the Gala champagne, which is champagne from France. And so, to your point, it's creating those experiences every day, but then the journey, as we were celebrating, where I perhaps had imagined my life 7 years ago to where it is now. 7 years ago, I never would have thought that one of my experiences in life would be at, having dinner with Jean-Charles and Gina Gallo at their beautiful home, which is, Robert Mondavi's former home, nestled at the hills of Napa, enjoying these fabulous meals, these experiences, being part of, a collector's club where I get to have access to small lot wines, sharing those experiences with friends and family and people that, I want to bring that joy to them. Those are just small components, but it's the travel that came with it. It's again, I keep using the word experience, and at some point in time, I'm going to have to tell myself I've overused it, but it's truly those fabulous experiences that create those memories that lead back to, as I'm kind of tying back to some of the things that he was talking about, the imagination, and your imagination changes, your dreams change, you bring creativity, but it's truly the implementation. I think when he was talking about that, that has been, for me, a very key thing in the last few years is, how do you implement to success? Because dreams and goals aren't reality until you bring them to fruition. And it's to have that plan. And, thank you for asking that question, because part of that seeding of that plan for me is to do these things like we did yesterday, to celebrate with champagne, beautiful champagne from France, bring that, again, let me use that word experience again, bring that experience to everybody that was on our call. So, yes, so that's what we've been doing.
There's an in addition to with JCB though, because with their Unity wines, for example, can you talk to me about that?
So when there was all the racial unrest happening in, I think it was May of last year, Jean-Charles and our home corporate team decided that we needed to really have a diversity group, a group that was looking at diversity from the ambassador base, and also, what are some of the things that we needed to do? And I was honored to be invited to be part of this team. And one of the things that was suggested was to create a wine that would allow us to donate to causes that were important to us. And that's where the Unity wine gave birth. And 100% of the proceeds went to Wine Unify and the African American Vintners organization to support causes. And the primary cause was to bring diversity, invite diverse individuals to be part of the education process, to be more involved in the wine world, and to really bring diversity through education and change. And we're going to continue to do that. So I think, I'm going to quote a number, but I think it's correct. We donated about $20,000. Let me tell you, these wines sold out in a month, because they were beautiful Cabernet, Napa Cabernet. They were priced at $25, and 100% of the proceeds went to these charities. Now we're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to support these organizations to Unity 2.0. And then we're also partnering with Jane Seymour to bring wine through the Open Heart. So again, everything that there's going to be a percentage that's going to be donated to her Open Hearts Foundation. So this is what I love. I love the fact that we are very philanthropic, but we're not just, we look for the causes that really could do greatness, and we could help bring that greatness to the world.
So I know we're running out of time, and I just want to say this real quick, because Rashmi, I feel like you're the prime example of this. And Joseph made a comment about, a luxury to have, to follow your passion and to know your why. And sometimes these words just eat at my core, because it's like, it's easier said than done, right? And there was something, I was in a mastermind, was with my mastermind group, and a friend of mine was working on this thing where she heard this presentation with Mike Rowe, who I love, Dirty Jobs Mike Rowe. And he was asked about passion. And they said, do you follow your passion or do you live your passion? And I'm going to paraphrase this, but basically he said, that's complete BS. Because what I realized is you find a job or, do a job, and you do it the absolute best you can, and you bring your passion to it. Like he said, I saw people doing some of the absolute worst jobs that are imaginable. Nobody would want to do them, but they brought their passion to them. And Rashmi, I'm not saying you're doing a dirty job, don't think that. But no matter what your why would be, it's like you found that why and aligned it to it, and you bring your passion and your joy to what you do every single day. And I feel like we beat down this. Well, Simon Sinek wrote about why. So find your why or live your passion. If you follow your passion, you never work a day in your life. And it's just such BS statements, where it's really digging deep and, bringing a passion to what it is you do and becoming great at what it is you do. And that really, to him, was the true great experience of life.
Erin, can I thank you so much for saying that, because I do lead my life with passion and with joy, and I hope kindness. When I was in the corporate world, it was a struggle, but I realized, and I had some amazing mentors and guides that told me that really, aside from everything else, my knowledge or whatever, I had a passion for people. And so throughout my life, and I love that you say that, is because yes, in many cases, what you're doing is not your passion, and never in your lifetime will it be your passion. But if you can tap into what your passion is and bring that as the undercurrent of everything you do. When I meet people, I'm meeting them at a level of passion. I'm meeting them with, because I want to know about them. My passion is to connect with them. And so when I do that, it's a build. And for me, this is a side gig that, it's bigger than a side gig, because I love what I do. It's my passion. It's not necessarily my purpose. I have another purpose that I am uncovering, and I'm really enjoying as I'm uncorking that. But to live life, really, you do have to tap into what's your passion or what's your joy, whatever you want to call it. But thank you for saying that.
Yeah, no, I think on that note, I think we can keep going. And there's so many other concepts that Jordan brought up, which is talking about personalities, tying that back in the way that communicates, again, resonating back to, let's be honest, as leaders, communication is such a critical component of success, right? Whether it be your client, within your team, within yourself. So if you want to see more of it, going to highly suggest for everyone to check out withglo.com and see Jordan and many other folks just sign up as a free basic member. Erin, I think I'm stealing your thunder here, so do you want to take it from here?
No, go ahead. So it's with GLO.com. Every Thursday are these events, the Business Accelerator 2.0 events. And then Syya and I are also the co-chairs of the Dallas chapter. So we'd love to have you join us as a premier member.
Exactly. And as a premier member, there is a promotion going on. It's ending actually very soon. So as of April 1st, we do have an offer of buy one, get one free. So basically, sometimes it's a little, daunting to join a business organization group and not know anyone. So here's the opportunity to bring a friend or a colleague or prospect. You can either go in halvesies or buy their way in. Either way, it's buy one, get one free. And it does end April 1st. You can go and find more about it, or just hit up me and Erin, and we're happy to talk about it. Next week on the Global Leaders Organization Business 2.0 Business Acceleration 2.0 speaker series, they are going to have James W. Keys. He is the former CEO of 7-Eleven and Blockbuster, and he's also currently the chairman of Wild Oats Marketing. So this guy, I'm sure, has got some great stories. I'm a big fan of Blockbuster. It's unfortunate the story of what happened, but I would love to hear what his thoughts and inputs are. Obviously, I don't know if he was at the helm at that personal time, but check it out. It's next Thursday, every Thursday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Go to withglo.com to RSVP. And ladies, are there any additional final thoughts on Jordan Gross that you'd like to share?
No, thank you. Thank you for including me.
All right. And on that note, then, I think we're going to go ahead and send our way off for a wonderful weekend. Everyone stay safe. Until then, we'll see you next week on the Afterglow Recap Podcast. And always miss my note. Bye, guys.